Hello, my name's Karina Thompson and welcome to another episode in the series Getting Started with Digitizing using the mySewnet embroidery software. In this video I'm going to be introducing you to the Create Express Border feature within the Express Design Wizard. We'll also briefly dip into the Draw and Paint module as well. If you're a subscriber or own a copy of mySewnet, or are just interested in finding out more about digital embroidery software, why not subscribe to our free YouTube channel, and that way you won't miss out on any of our future episodes. In this video I'm on a PC with the platinum level of software installed. Everything I show you today you'll be able to do on a Mac. So I have the Express Design Wizard open. You might find it useful to watch two earlier films, How to Get Started and the Create Express Trace in the Express Design Wizard, just so you understand how the Express Design Wizard works. So in this video I'm going to be working with the Create Express Border. So I'm going to click the Create Express Border button, and you can see from the image over here that's showing me that this will give me a border around the outside of my imagery. It's not going to give me any of the detail inside. So I'm then going to click Next. And just like before, I'm going to have to load in a picture. And just like before, I'm going to be using the free download sample pictures from the download page of mySewnet.com. I'm going to scroll down because in actual fact I'm going to use this image here of a snowflake. So I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to click OK. Now I've deliberately chosen this because the background here is darker than the image of the snowflake. And we're going to have to change that in some way to get the best effects. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to click Next. I'm not going to crop it. I'm going to click Next. And you can see from here, if I actually bring this up on the monochrome threshold, yes, we've got this nice black and white image, but if I then go Next and Next again, we've actually just got a square. It's actually seeing this edge here as the edge of our imagery. So we're going to need to go back and we need to make sure that the image that we want to make our border from is darker than the image of the background that it's on. And that's where we are going to go Edit Picture. And this will open up the Draw and Paint modules within mySewnet. So the drawing part of the module allows you to draw with vectors, essentially mathematical points that can be very accurate and clear. You can see, for instance, I've been tracing the outline of my snowflake here. If I do a right click, we get the option to finish line, and for instance if I then go back into the digitizing module down here, you can see that I've got the start of a purple line in here. I'm actually going to do a Control Z and take that line out because I want to take a moment to talk about what's going on with the Paint tab. So I'm going to click on the Paint tab. And the Paint tab is much more like a rasterized image where, for instance, if you want to, you can actually draw your lines in. You can use a whole range of brushes in here. And again, just like before, I'm going to go back into the digitizing module so you can kind of see the effects that we're getting on there. So I would suggest if you do want to edit your drawing, in some way your clip art image that you're using, the Draw category will give you much precise clean lines. The Paint module allows you it to look a lot more kind of hand done, handmade. Again, I'm going to go back into my module. I'm going to undo that, so Control or Command Z. But in actual fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a darker colour, because what we need to do is we need to turn the white snowflake into a dark colour. And so I'm going to choose this dark teal. I'm going to then choose the paint bucket and just click anywhere in the white area. I'm not going to worry what's happening in the center here, because the border feature it's only interested in this outside edge. And again, I can then go back into the digitizing module. If I'm happy with that, I can then click finish. And so when I go next, again, I'm not cropping, I go next. This is the monochrome threshold. You can see I've got a lovely clear black and white image, my black snowflake here. I don't need to change that threshold at all, so I can click next. It's asking me how big I would like that, so again I'm going to go next, and straight away here you go, you can see that it's turned that in. The default is an applique with a satin edge. If I wanted just a running stitch or a double or a triple stitch, or indeed a motif line, I could do. I can change those stitch options, and we do cover that in the Mastering the Basics films that are available on our YouTube channel. If I wanted to, I could select a different fabric, and there are hundreds of different fabric options in here. So I've checked the fabric option. If I come in here, I can click on the viewer, and you can see we've got all sorts of different fabric patterns in here if I wanted to use those. So for instance, let's go with that we're going to have a crazy tiger skin in here. If I click OK on that, you can see that we've got this crazy tiger skin. Let me just go back in, because there's a couple of other things I want to talk about whilst we're here. If you wanted to, you could actually add a fabric picture yourself. So let's say you've got a specific fabric that you want to work with. You could actually photograph it and load it up if you wanted to. I'm just going to cancel that. There's also the ability for you to actually use a transfer paper that you could actually print any of these decorative patterns onto your fabric if you wanted to. We can also play around with the angle. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do with that. But again, in actual fact, I'm not going to go for the tiger stripe. I'm just going to click on one of my other recent swatches, a quick colour, quite like this purple, so I'm going to go OK. And you can see that our applique fabric's been replaced with that kind of colour purple. If you wanted to as well, we've got applique options. So for instance, if you're using pre-cut out pieces or a pre-placed piece, there's even the potential there for actually using cutwork needles if you wanted to. But you can see the instructions are here for each of those different options to do with whether or not a placement line goes in there, those kind of things. So you can actually be really quite detailed. So I'm going to then click finish, and lo and behold, here is my embroidery design. If I want to have a look at what it looks like, the green here is from my background, so I can go view and use the slider to take that out. And I can also use live view if I want to have a closer look for how that satin line is looking on that. I'm going to cancel that, and of course then my embroidery design is ready for me to use the send to mySewnet or do file and export in all the main file formats for an embroidery machine. So hopefully you can see how easy it is to create your own applique borders using the Express Design Wizard. within the digitizing module of mySewnet. Please give us a thumbs up if you found this an interesting or useful video. And why not subscribe to our channel? And that way you won't miss out on any of our future videos where we're going to help you get started with digitizing using mySewnet embroidery software. Happy sewing!